Hey guys, this is like my third attempt at making this video because I've been having all sorts of technical difficulties um related to like storage on my phone, and then I couldn't get a video to record, and so I am just starting over from scratch. And actually it's probably hopefully for the best because I tend to be really scatterbrained and go all over the place, and the video ends up being too long anyways. So here is take two. Just my thoughts lately on why I think this is the end and why it's a good thing. I know people usually view the apocalypse in like negative terms, obviously. Like, I think, whether you want to call it collective consciousness or whatever, people have always had an awareness of like the end of days, the apocalypse. You see it, repeated in culture, like movies like Deep Impact or 2012, or just again and again and again. People have this seemingly like like spiritual awareness that maybe our days on Earth are limited. We realize how small we are in the context of time and the galaxy, and how incredibly vulnerable we are in so many ways, right? From something as small as a virus to something as large as maybe a killer asteroid from space. We are aware that we're living on borrowed time. Even apart from any massive, like, apocalyptic events, we all know that we're going to die someday. So, and that became much more apparent a couple years ago when this medical emergency, we'll just call it, kind of swept around the whole globe, and it immediately caught my attention. And of course, I'm always looking at things from a spiritual perspective. So I have followed all of this closely right from the beginning, and it always seemed like there was something really off about it to me. And I am already someone who's had a lot of really negative experiences with mainstream medicine and pharmaceuticals at large. I already have quite a healthy suspicion of the system, we'll just say. So when the treatment was rushed to market, I I was not ever going to take it. No one in my family, my immediate family, received it. And I have watched its development, the rollout, everything from its inception till now, very skeptically, looking at the big picture, right? And right from the beginning, you don't have to be a scientist or a doctor to realize that there's certain viruses that mutate quickly, like the flu, like the cold. They're mutating constantly from season to season, and that's why in your lifetime, even the person with the healthiest immune system is going to contract multiple colds, right? Like, it's not like chicken pox. Like, you get it once, you have immunity, because it's like a virus that is very slow to mutate. So your immune system is going to recognize chickenpox 40 years after you had it as an 8-year-old, right? But the cold, it's just kind of like a buzzing fly on humanity, or the flu. Like, we all, I know I've had the flu many times throughout my life, and because it mutates, right? There's no strong lasting immunity, and the same thing that our immune systems use, we develop antibodies that recognize foreign invaders. Well, um medical treatments, you can't even say the word or you will get censored. The medical treatments, they use that same mechanisms, or they try to induce an antibody response, and your body recognizes it when you come in contact with it, and then you kind of have like a head start. So that's the whole idea. And to think that they could make an effective treatment against a cold is ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. And if you go back and can find the research from really, I think, almost 40 years of trying to develop a medical treatment for the cold, it's always been an abysmal failure, up until recently. So the fact that they all of a sudden thought that they could fix these decade-long problems with developing a medical treatment for a cold in the span of 10 months, get it to market, get it into arms, it had a lot of us extremely skeptical. What are they doing? And simultaneously, up to that point, they're blocking effective medical treatments to the point that doctors were afraid to prescribe drugs that were actually really, really low risk and safe because they could get in serious trouble. Like, there was just a complete clamp down on any sort of treatment, because if there was an effective treatment, they couldn't, for the medical emergency, they couldn't have gotten the emergency use authorization for the medical treatment. And that the emergency use authorization meant that they could basically skip standard safety trials and also have ingredients in there that they didn't have to disclose, up to 50%. I just discovered this, and it's like mind-boggling. It's essentially a mystery product that hasn't had any long-term safety trials, and they're using initially a lot of fear to get people to go out and get it. And then when that didn't work for all the population, they rolled out a mandate where employers were going to be fined if their employees didn't get this. And it just, I know like a lot of people that didn't want to get it. They didn't want to get it, and they just kind of rolled over and got it because they were put in this high pressure situation where they felt like they didn't have a choice. If they didn't get it, they were going to lose their job and essentially be unable to find a job. So the whole, if you research into what is informed consent as a basic human right, no one can force you to undergo a medical procedure against your will, especially if you're not properly informed about the risks, the risk, the benefit ratio of that medical treatment. So for them to be forcing a treatment on you that has no long-term safety trials, and it's just, evil is the word that comes to mind here. Evil. So many people got this, and because a lot of them, I just think they thought it was the right thing to do, but they don't know what's actually in it and what effects it's causing. And you can see now that the death rate in 2021 among working age people 18 to 64, it jumped 40%. It's like all-cause mortality rate of working age people jumped 40%, which is huge. And these are not necessarily deaths related to the medical emergency. People are just dying at a faster rate now. And the cause of death of sudden unexplained deaths has exploded, and it's fairly visible no matter how much they try to hide it. Healthy young athletes collapsing on the field left and right, even high school athletes collapsing on fields, people dying in their sleep. Stage 4 cancers just exploding seemingly overnight. Strokes, obviously, all sort of cardiac events in people who really shouldn't be having cardiac events, and at this rate that we're seeing in healthy young people. So, I mean, it's already looking really ominous. And if you do some research, people have managed to get a hold of vials of this medical treatment and have looked at it under a microscope. There's a high, I guess the main constituent of this medical treatment is graphene oxide. And it's alarming because it is toxic to human beings. It's not something that should ever be injected into any living thing. I wouldn't inject it into my cat. Like, why? So I'm just, okay, we know that they're doing this. We know that they were forcing it. But why? Right? Why? So I was doing a lot of research last night, and we know it's causing a lot of clots, and the clots themselves have killed a lot of people. Like, if your veins are all littered up with these long rubbery clots, like, your circulatory system isn't going to be working very well. And if you put it under any extra amount of stress, like going for a jog, that's what people are just keeling over and dying, because it's like a loaded gun already. Like, any extra stress to your heart, and you're just a ticking time bomb at that point. But anyways, the clots themselves, recently they've been analyzed, and I will include a link under this video. But the clots are not normal blood clots. They are not made up of biological material and chemicals that we would see that compose our blood. Like, the actual makeup of these things has been examined by the health ranger guy, and the clots themselves are made up of non-living tissue. They appear to be self-forming, and they appear to be drawing into themselves high levels of tin, aluminum, and sodium, which are all metals that can conduct electricity. And so essentially, if you have looked into like transhumanism or whatever, and certain prominent figures on record saying that they're going to turn people into hackable animals, you have to wonder, are they trying to, like, corrupt human DNA, take away whatever makes us human, made in the image of God, and then B, trying to, turn us into some sort of like half human, half machine receiver, right? Like, if you've ever seen the movie Cell with John Cusack, where people, like, I watched it a few years ago, but they're like, anyone that's on their cell phone, they get like the signal from the cell phone, and they just kind of change into like this mindless kind of like zombie like creation. And I mean, that seems so preposterous beyond, what we would normally consider. But you just have to wonder, what is the end game here? Why were they trying to get this technology? And it is technology. Why are they trying to get this into every single living human being? Now even the babies, which is horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. People are dying, and the people that aren't dying are walking around with this alien substance in their bodies that is growing and is leaching metals from their body. And for what purpose? Is there going to be a future event where all of this is going to be activated in these individuals, where they are going to lose their free will, their personal autonomy. They're going to become receivers of some kind from some sort of a signal where they'll be able to be controlled. You know, we really have to ask these questions because there is an agenda going on here, and it is demonic. All of this was set up from day one, from the research that was going on in the lab over there with where this originated from. It was released on purpose. It was. And all of this to bring about this condition where they could bypass the safety testing, get this into most people living on planet Earth, and then also simultaneously the people that were asking questions have been all but silenced in the media. I mean, I've experienced it myself over and over again. Where, like, even this morning I was trying to send my husband an article about these clots, and Facebook wouldn't even let me, send it via, private message. Like, they're not happy even with that. They want to make, AI that's going to censor us all everywhere. So this is only gonna get worse. This is just the beginning. And I'm just making this video to warn you guys, like, if you have taken the medical treatment, I would pray and fast. Like, this is, it's scary. Don't get any more. And get right with God, because I really think this is the end. I think this is all leading up to, it's, building blocks, if you will, to the eventual mark of the beast, where people are just effectively going to lose their free will. They're going to lose whatever is left of their personal autonomy and become essentially zombies, human zombies. So, I'm sure I'm going to get some pushback. I always get some negative comments. And if you're going to write a negative comment, you might as well just not, because I'll just delete it anyways. But just feel like I have to warn you guys that this is coming, and the whole medical treatment is just one component. They're also putting us into a man-made famine. They're destroying food production companies. I just watched a video this morning of another flour processing plant that was burned down. Guys, this is the end. This is the end of humanity. We're not coming back from this. So right now, God's giving us time to get right with Him, to get our spiritual houses in order. And I would say just do it now. Don't wait, because everything is coming to a head. I don't think we're even going to be here for another year, meaning that I think the rapture has to happen soon, because we are so close to the tribulation. But anyways, guys, just pray about this and just keep seeking God, keep seeking Him for answers and His peace, and knowing that He is our hope, that no matter how bad things get here, we know that this is not our home, and ultimately it's all working together for our good, because people are waking up and getting excited about what comes next. I know I'm excited. So anyways, guys, I love you. Bye.